Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to MindShifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rachma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-hosts, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce.
To the brightness within you, and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hi, and welcome to MindShifters Radio with Dr. Michael Ryce. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169. Press 1, and that puts you in queue to talk with us. We'd love to hear your questions and your comments. See, Dr. Tim is already with us. Welcome, Michael, to the show.
Good morning, sweetheart, and good morning, Dr. Tim. I'm in Theodosia, Missouri, and Jeanie is in Bristol, Tennessee. Thank goodness she's flying into town on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to seeing your sweet face. And so welcome, Dr. Tim. Any thoughts for you, sir?
Only some difficulty getting my mute button off. We're doing well here. Just watching all of the stuff bubble up around the impending trip down to Heartland. And anxious to hear what people are thinking, responses to yesterday's, what I would say was a very interesting show, and what Carrie was sharing about basically dropping into a process point or spontaneous still point. Thought about that quite a bit. Did a little breathing myself earlier today when I was on a massage table, or wasn't really massage, but getting an energy treatment, and just noticed all kinds of things are bubbling up. So it's going to be an amazing few weeks here until we're done with the teacher training.
Yes, it is going to be an awesome time. We're at the point where we're just getting ready to pick people up for the 9-day, and we've got a pretty full house. So it's rocking along and getting exciting.
One thing I thought about, I kept thinking about who is it who's out in Oregon? Julie?
Julie. Mm-hmm.
And she was calling in, and it almost sounded like she was talking about having fear or misgivings about not being up to the task and being there with all these people that have done the work for so long. And I just wanted to reiterate that the fact that she understands where she is means nothing and no one can stop her from making tremendous progress. And all that matters is that she makes progress from where she is to the next level of where she can be. It doesn't matter where anybody else is on the ladder. And so maybe you'd want to talk about that some. You do a very nice job in the Circle of Life and How to Play It in the intro in that lecture of talking about how the assessments we need to do are really only for ourselves. They're not to compare ourselves to anyone else at any time, because that's a trap rather than a tool for progress.
Exactly. No question about it. And the recognition, and that I appreciate you bringing it up yesterday, that if you're going to make a journey, the starting point is knowing where you are, and that's half the game. And so when you understand exactly where you are, you're in a much, much better place than someone who thinks they're way out in front, but the truth is they're lagging behind. And so I think that Julie has a pretty clear, picture of herself in terms of how much she's been willing to do, and of course, getting into the field, getting into the space of people who are willing to do their work just accelerates things immeasurably. I love the video that Jeanie's put on the website about the lion who was bought as a cub at Harrods in England, Harrods department store. This lion cub on sale, and these two young men buy this lion and raise it until it's so big they can't raise it anymore. They can't deal with it anymore, and so they ship it off to a preserve in Africa. And a year later, they contact the people who run the preserve and want to come and visit their lion, to which the people in the preserve say, you're crazy. This is a wild lion. We tracked him. He's tagged. He's head of his own pride. He'll shred you. And so they insist they're going to come and visit, and sure enough, they find Christian, and the name of the lion is Christian, and the people who run the preserve have got somebody standing by with a high-power rifle because they think they're going to have to shoot this lion. And they show the video of this lion kind of sauntering down the hill toward them, and then all of a sudden breaks into a full gallop, like, I hope this is the right lion. And it just jumps up on them and hugs on them and plays with them and licks on them, and it's just like, watching a major family reunion. But the really impressive part is the fact that this male lion's mate comes down the hill with him, and I'm sure that Mr. Christian didn't have a conversation with Mrs. Christian and say, these are my friends, don't eat them. But she comes down and, rubs up against these guys and lets them pet her. Totally, completely wild lion. And to me, that's a very, very practical, powerful demonstration of the power of holding a space. And when we're on our own in a place of chaos and insanity and fear and rage and guilt and pain, it can be a big challenge to pick up and get a level of work done. The tendency to fall back into the old patterns and to really believe in those old patterns is pretty powerful. Whereas when you're in a space where other people are moving in the same direction as you want to move, just like this female lion who is a totally wild lion, follows the space or falls into the space of the male who has obviously a friendship and a love for these guys, that she's able to just tap right into that. And oftentimes because we're unconscious, we're controlled by those energetic spaces around us. And when people get together in a group of people, we'll have 28 people here at this intensive coming out, so it's going to be a really nice size house. We actually have a limit of 30, and we'll have 28 people here, and the space that's created for the opening and the work to be done is just awesome. So if you're listening, Julie, you're going to be in the right place at the right time, successfully engaged in exactly the right activity, and you're going to be right on track. And there'll be people who've never heard of the work or done nothing with it. There'll be people who've been working with it for 25 years, and there'll be people who are everywhere in between. So as I said yesterday, remember the poem Desiderata, where it says, do not compare yourself with others. Of course, it's kind of negative regulatory speech, but it makes the point. Do not compare yourself with others, or you will become vain and bitter, or always there will be lesser and greater than yourself. So the one to compare yourself with is you. Where are you in your process? And are you willing to move forward? And that's the key to the game. And, of course, we invite everybody that's listening to the show to be part of the team that changed the world, whether you attend an intensive or you just access the material online or you order DVDs or CDs or whatever it is, whether you download the book from the website, you order a copy of the book, take the tools, put them to work. And what happens as you do that is you create a space in yourself for a greater measure of human life to show up. And we use a very experiential definition of human life, and that is this awesome active presence of love that you experience when you hold a newborn child. It's really clear what human life is. If you travel around the planet as Jeanie and I have and ask thousands of people the question, what's the essence of the newborn that you held? And everybody's answer is some variation on the theme of love. The reason, of course, is because everybody knows what human life is. And so we're here to support human life on planet Earth and invite you to be part of that process. And the way that you support human life is to undo and to let go of everything unlike human life that is in you. The tool for doing that out of the ancient Aramaic is a tool called forgiveness. And forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with letting somebody else off the hook because there's some kind of pain, turmoil, sadness, grief, rage, whatever, inside of you. Nobody ever told us that forgiveness is a tool for removing content from your mind, your body, and your emotions. Sadly, we've been taught that forgiveness is about letting other people off the hook because those things are there. We're going to invite you to never forgive anybody ever again, to never forgive yourself again, but to access the true tool of forgiveness, and that is the technology with which you go inside yourself. Find the part of your mind you've been hiding from yourself and pretending is everybody else's fault when you feel it, and changing that part in yourself. So that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to support you in doing. If that's a new conversation for you or you're not sure how that might work, we invite you to go to www.whyagain.com, and on the right-hand side you'll see a link that says Download Worksheets. Pick up that link, click in there, and you'll see 7 links. There are actually dozens of links in that section, but the first 7 links will tell you the whole process. It'll give you the whole tool of how to do the forgiveness process and how to go inside yourself, how to crack open the hidden or dissociated parts of your mind, and how to bring healing to them. So that's what we're here to support you in. Tap into the website. There are 5 radio shows where we've walked somebody through the whole worksheet process from start to finish. So you've got 5 sets of instructions for how to do it. And then if you listen to those and you still have questions, concerns, the reason why we're here is to support you in understanding how to do the process of forgiveness, how to remove from yourself every hostility, every fear, every grief, every rage, every pain, everything that never belonged in your system, everything unlike your human life. And so that's what we're here to support you in. And, Jeanie, do we have any callers or anything happening in the chat room?
Well, actually, there's a whole lot of things going on in the chat room, and I apologize for the guests who have been out there and had to see some of that. We apparently had some people who call themselves trolls or something, and they were playing trash mouth in the chat room. So Carol popped on, and she said she had them during her hour, too, and so we've had to bump a bunch of people out of the chat room, and I will be scanning all the calls. So we don't have anybody right at the present, and, again, I apologize for those who had to see that in the chat room.
And, of course, as we are working with the process of forgiveness, and I'm not looking at the chat room, so I don't know what was there, but it sounds like it was kind of nasty. If that brings something less than love up in you or a judgment about whoever the trolls are, we're here to hold the space for the healing of those who function out of insane minds, those who function out of hostility, fear, or any kind of crazy behavior. You know, one of the things that tends to happen when you hear of things going on in the world, this event that happened out in Colorado yesterday where they opened a new movie and some guy comes in and throws a smoke bomb and shoots, 65 people, 14 of them dead. And most people go into trauma and pain. And what we suggest you do, if that brings trauma and pain to you, is that you recognize that by adding trauma and pain to that event, which is so insane and bizarre, that you are a supporter of that kind of event happening in the world. So if it brings something up in you that's less than love, if this is a person that you're not interested in holding the space of love for, then we invite you to engage in the forgiveness process. And as I've never heard them called trolls, but if we've got some trolls in there, we hold the space that you actually turn into a human life instead of the insanity of trash mouth, whatever it is. It's like, where's your human life, folks? What's going on for you that you would do that? And we're here to hold the space for you to discover it and for you to go through a conversion. And, of course, conversion isn't about moving from one religion to another. We're here to support you moving from a fear, hostility, and pain-based mind. In order to do that kind of stuff, the kind of pain you got to have going on inside of you under the surface, I understand, is tremendous and horrendous. And we're here to support you being able to open that and move back to the human life that you were given, move back to the absolute awesome presence of love that you are. And we hold the space for that.
Michael, we have Julie from Oregon on the phone.
Oh, cool. Hey there, young lady.
Hi, I heard my ears were ringing. I heard that I was being discussed a little bit there.
You were.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. I know that I will be getting the highest level of support possible on this planet, at Heartland, and that's why I'm going, and I do appreciate it. And I aspire, I think my aspirations, my goals of what I want to become are actually blocking the truth of what I already am. So that's the comparison thing that I do with myself, I think. So I'm just going to come to Heartland and see what I can unlock, I do have a goal to unlock and free up my mind more so that it's more useful to me and have more energy so that I can create my life from here on forward, because I have been in kind of a slump, and it's so unconscious that I know that that's why the slump is there. It's stuff for me to look at. So I have a lot of goals, and that's
so
what
I support you doing some worksheets, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
I support you doing some worksheets with yourself as the object of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And this tendency to compare yourself with others. And you probably go back and find that you do that when you're under stress, which means that it's a power person dynamic. And probably you'll have some recall of when your power person compared you with others. And that's just an internal process that goes on and carries on. And so the suggestion is that you would forgive those things, let loose of them, and move back to living as who you are without regard to what others are doing.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll do that. Thank you.
All right. Fabulous. All right, we appreciate you and look forward to seeing you on Monday. Your smiling face.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'll see you then.
Okay, blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, sweetie, any other thoughts? Hello, hello. Are you there, Jeanie? Have you got your mute button on by chance? No?
Well, you're still there, Michael.
Okay. So we maybe have lost Jeanie due to technical difficulties. But
Well, what we were just talking about reminded me of a story that Guy Finley tells, and I'll try and shorten it up so it's brief and to the point. But he tells a beautiful little story about a spiritual reporter who's heard about a town that has the highest rate of missing people in the nation. And so he goes there trying to find out what's the story behind all these people missing and what, if anything, can be done about it. And when he arrives in town, one of the first things he sees is a woman sitting on a park bench, and all of a sudden, as he's watching her, a tiny little tailor in an Armani suit shows up on her shoulder with tape measure and pins and starts measuring her. And she looks over at this little man on her shoulder, and she smiles and grins. And as that's happening, a few more pop up on her other shoulder. And then, in just a minute or two's time, hundreds of little tiny tailors show up, and now she's not smiling so much. And they're all with their tapes and their pins, and they're inflicting all kinds of little pricklies. And then it's like the movie The Matrix. They just keep multiplying and multiplying until she's completely covered in these tailors, and then she's weighed down, and she's laying on the ground and then just kind of disappears into the earth. And he watched this happen for over a week, and he finally was in the position where he thought he'd seen enough, and he had to interrupt the next time he saw this start to happen to somebody. And he was out in the same park, and here was a man walking, and a tiny tailor appeared, and just as the reporter was ready to run over to him, all kinds of these hundreds of little tiny tailors popped up, and the man stood up and said something and turned around as he was trying to look at all the tailors on his shoulders, and instantly all the tailors were gone. And the reporter ran up to him and said, "Sir, you've got to share this with me. This is a miracle. I mean, I've seen dozens of people in the past week be consumed by these tailors, and you have to tell me what happened. What did you say? I could hear see your mouth move, but I couldn't hear what you said." And he said, "Oh, it was nothing really. I just told them I've decided not to measure myself anymore, and so I don't need you." And there's a tremendous freedom that comes from not comparing ourselves to others and not measuring ourselves based on what we think we ought to be, and doing what Julie was just talking about doing, which is accepting myself where I am and working with that to try and make it be better in the moment.
Absolutely. I love his stories. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah, and
if you're not familiar with Guy Finley, he's written a book that is actually a live online book. It's an ongoing. Do you know his website offhand for that book? If people want to check it out,
I'll research it here and I'll get back to you. I'm at the computer.
Cool, fabulous. So, Jeanie, have you returned? Have we found you again?
Yes, I was just checking out another caller, and so we do have Susan from North Carolina on the line with us.
Hey, Michael, this is Susan.
Excuse me, my other phone was ringing here. Turn it down. Go ahead. Welcome. Hello.
I met you in Wilmington at the Unity Church about a month ago, I suppose.
Ryan?
And I wanted to know. Go ahead. I was one of Julia's friends that she did the worksheet on.
Right.
And we had one of these miraculous healings,
Right.
The most, what the Course in Miracles says, the most sacred place on earth is where ancient hatred becomes a present-day love.
Absolutely.
So anyway, what I'm calling for was I heard you say that you were almost full for the upcoming intensive, and I wondered if there were any more openings.
We do have a couple of spaces left, yes. Actually, Julie is here. Did you know that?
Pardon me? Yes, I did know that. I did.
Yes,
no.
Yes, you're right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I called her this morning and left her a message to call me.
Right. Well,
just
yes, we have space to come and play.
That sounds wonderful.
We would love to have you.
Well, I told you when you were here in Wilmington that I got your book 9 years ago at the Unity Church in Raleigh. And I've been reading it and going, but I didn't realize you had a website, and I just didn't. I mean, when I Googled you years ago, there wasn't a website that I knew of. And so I was just grateful when you came to the Unity Church. I was like, I know him. I've been reading his book, and I've been preaching his stuff forever.
Awesome.
I actually have a Course in Miracles group on Tuesday night there at the Unity Church, so we actually met with you that night that you came instead of having our normal meeting. Yes, so it's right on track for me. I know it's divine. I just kind of, it's been hard for me to get everything lined up where I thought I could make it go, but I think I can, and that's one reason I wanted to check and see if you had more spaces.
I do have a space for you, yes. It would be awesome to have you here.
And I've been doing 5 worksheets a day.
Congratulations. That's fabulous.
Yeah, sometimes more than 5. I go to bed and I can't sleep, so I get back up and do a couple more.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome.
It's awesome the way things open. Isn't it amazing the way that works? I mean, it's like, who'd have thunk it, right?
Absolutely. And, I was doing the process in my mind, but I wasn't writing it down on a sheet of paper, and I think you actually taught me in your workshop the time you were doing that, you said you've got to write it down, and that's the one thing that I've been missing all these years is not writing it down. I knew that everything that was triggered was in me, and I would take it to Holy Spirit, but I never got to the goal, which collapses the whole structure.
Right. And, I whenever somebody talks about that, I do them in my mind, the song in my head plays from Paul Simon. Slip sliding away. You know, the nearer your destination, the more you slip. And he's exactly precise when it comes to doing process work, because as soon as we start getting close to the real stuff we need to deal with, the mind just checks out and goes in the other direction. So when you put it in writing, it brings a part of the mind into play that just opens such huge spaces. So I'm delighted that it's working for you. That's fabulous.
I'm very grateful. I've been listening to you every day on the radio, and then listening to all your, I've got them downloaded to my phone while I'm working. I'm always listening to something. So I'm learning. Awesome. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. So tell me, what do I need to do? Who do I call, or who do I email?
Let me give you my phone number, my cell number, and when we finish the show, if you want to give me a quick call back, we'll set up the registration.
Let me grab a pen.
And we ask anybody who's listening to please respect it. I give out my cell phone number, but I don't do one-on-one work. I'm not available for that. One of the reasons we have the radio show is that we can support you on a one-on-one basis, but the project is just too big to do that. If you do want to do some private work, Jeanie does one-on-one work over the phone, and she's awesome at doing that. But we'll just ask you to respect the number if you would. And I don't return all phone calls. I don't return all phone calls that come, because this project is global and there's so much happening that sometimes I just can't catch up and keep up. But I do the best I can. So my cell number is 954-205-4996.
Okay, I got it.
And your name again was?
Susan Darnell.
Susan, awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful. I'll give you a call after the show.
Fabulous. All right, look forward to hearing from you. Bless you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All righty. Bye-bye. Fabulous. Well, all things moving forward. It is powerful. I remember that situation that she's talking about, and it is so awesome. You know, when you engage in the forgiveness process and human life enters your body or enters a room, it's always the most sacred and the most awesome thing that could possibly happen, especially when you see somebody who's hopelessly and helplessly lost in grief or rage or pain or fear, whatever it is that's going on for them. So we're here to support you, and we'd love to have your questions, your comments, share what your experience has been. And Jeanie, we have any callers? Anything happening in the chat room?
No, nobody has their hand up. There's several people out there, so if you're on the switchboard and you want to talk, press 1. That puts you into queue. And our number is 646-200-4169. Press 1. That puts you in queue to talk. There's a bunch of people in the chat room, but everybody's just listening right now.
So if you were here sitting in the room with Tim and Jeanie and myself, listening to this conversation, what would your question be? What would you be saying about this conversation? What would you be asking? What would you be sharing with us? And our request is pick up the phone and share that with us. If you have a question, if there's something about the process that doesn't make sense, then that's what we want to hear about, because we want to have a deeper understanding of what it is that's going on, and we want to share with you a deeper understanding. And interestingly enough, the beautiful thing about getting to do what I do, the privilege I get, that Jeanie gets, that Dr. Tim gets, is we get to keep engaging in everybody's questions, and it's the refined questioning that is really important. And as you do that, you get to move to deeper and deeper parts of your own mind. And one of the bases of everything we're talking about is that the minute you deny something, and the way that denial, how does denial look? What do you mean denial? Do I stand there and say, no, this isn't mine? No, actually you don't have to do that. All you have to do is be in some form of pain or turmoil and have a conversation about somebody else. You're now in denial. When you go into denial, you dissociate from a part of your mind. Whatever it is that you dissociated from becomes the lead balloon that holds you out of your human life, that holds you out of your happiness. You are only as happy as the most troubled and pain part of your own dissociated mind. You're only as happy as the most troubled and pain part of your own dissociated mind. And people think, well, but I don't want to deal with that. If I just keep that hidden away, then I don't have to look at it. I don't have to feel it. And the truth is, you're right. You don't consciously have to look at it or feel it. But you get to engage in it 24/7, 365. We're here to support you in changing that dynamic, in awakening to who you are, and supporting you in getting in touch with those pained and troubled parts of your mind. What Susan just shared with us when she called was, a situation that came up in a workshop, a live workshop a few weeks ago, where there was a conflict, and I was not necessarily aware of the depth of the conflict, but the Course in Miracles has this awesome saying that says, there's no place so holy upon the earth as the place where an ancient hatred becomes a present love. And right there on the spot, two people in interaction, instead of playing out the old dynamics of their minds, were able and willing to take the tools, put them to use, and create a healing space. And here are two people who just a few weeks ago were in conflict, and now they're communicating, and Susan's like, well, I want to come up and join you in doing that work, Julia. So how awesome is that? And we see that happen so much. People in so much pain and turmoil that just literally you just delete the pain and turmoil. You change everything. Now, does it happen overnight? Is it an instant process? No, it's work. There's a process to it. And that's why we have an intensive where people are stepping up to the plate and saying, I'm ready to go for it. So, Jeanie, it sounds like I hear a conversation in the background. Do you have somebody to chat with us?
No, not a conversation here. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I could hear a voice kind of kicking in and out in the background.
It sounds like a distorted echo in your voice, Michael.
Oh, is it? Okay. No, it seems to have disappeared, so. So if you've got a question for us and you're on the phone, press 1. Okay, you'll be next in line to ask a question. If you're in the chat room, ask a question. If you're on one of the stations that does not show up in our control panel and are listening to the show, our calling number is 646-200-4169. We would love to hear your sweet voice and support you in whatever questions you have about this awesome ancient technology that we're looking to restore to every mind, heart, and being on planet Earth. And that's our motivator. That's what we're here to do, is to take that forward on a planet-wide scale.
And that link you were looking for the Guy Finley, the online book that's in process,
right?
The living book is www.onejourney.net, ONEJOURNEY, onejourney.net.
Cool, onejourney.net. Cool book.
And the living book is right there online, and people are encouraged to post their favorite quotes from their greatest teachers.
I need to get in touch with Guy and invite him to make the space to get on the show with us one of these days to share some wisdom. He's such an awesome storyteller. And the parallels in the work we're doing are just so perfect that it's wonderful.
Yeah, he's currently doing a 4-week series, Tuesday nights, where he talks for an hour or half an hour and then opens it up for questions, and so he might be a little bit on the stretch side right now, but please do reach out to him. I'd love to have him on the phone or schedule several. I think it'd be great to have the two of you combine your styles, and as you keep saying, the more different angles and ways that you hear a particular message, especially something that's new and has depth to it, the more different avenues you get for exploring it and getting it into you, the quicker and the more deeper your understanding will be.
For sure. So if you have a question for us, 646-200-4169. We'd love to hear from you. Push 1, and you'll be in queue. And Jeanie will share with us that you're ready to give us a thought. And, of course, the forgiveness process can't be spoken about too much. And then the corollary tools, we move out from why is this happening to me again, which is the core of forgiveness. And actually the whole body of the work started out with that particular workshop about, in the form it's in now, about 30 years ago. I've been doing the work for a little better than 45 now, but the first Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop was done about 30 years ago, and it has branched out to a number of different topics. Originally, all of the topics were kind of wrapped into one workshop, and as the work is developed, it's separated out into, so it went from Why Is This Happening to Me Again, and then Why Is This Happening to Me Again, and Healing Through Relationships. Then we added Purpose, Personal Power, and Commitment, and Empowered to Heal, and On Creating Consciously, and Communication. Did you hear what I think I said? MindShifters, and Introduction to Still Point Breathing, Introduction to Advanced Understanding of A Course in Miracles, The New Beginning, one of my favorite lessons from the Course in Miracles. So it actually branches out to about 15 different 2-hour DVDs or 2-hour live workshops, and we travel all over the globe. Wherever we're invited on the planet, we simply file every invitation, and then when we see the possibility of a number of people that we can touch, we'll take our tour in that direction. And when we do that, we pay our own expenses, and workshops are free. Actually, there's one workshop we do charge a fee for, but 99% of the workshops are free. And the idea is to make the tools universally available so that whatever your financial circumstances, you have access to this information. It's to me, it's that important. And, of course, if you're benefiting from what we're doing, we invite you to support us. Of course, while we do the workshops free, we haven't figured out how to do them for nothing. We all have bills to pay. We've got 17 acres and 15 buildings here, and life on the road is not an inexpensive proposition. So, and, of course, every day the radio show is a way that we reach out and offer support. If you want to support us, if you feel supported by that and you want to assist us.
Michael, we have Carrie on the line.
Okay. Welcome. Hello, Carrie. Hello.
Actually, she just dropped. It was Carrie in Colorado.
Oh, okay. Or maybe she'll
but
come
she
back
just dropped, so maybe she'll call back on.
Call back in. Yeah, it was kind of a whistly and interference, so I imagine she had a poor connection. She'll probably call back in. But I'll just finish off the thought that if you feel like you'd like to support us in taking this to every mind, heart, and being on the planet, if there's a level of support you receive that you feel is worthy of returning that support so that we can pass it on to others, you can go to our website, www.whyagain.com, soon to become .org, and there's a donate button. You can just click that button and you can take something that you want to offer and put in this direction and assist us in taking this to every mind, heart, and being on the planet. That's our only and our full-time project, is to take the tools out and make them available. So we invite you to do that, and has Carrie called back in? No, I guess
she is. She's back on. Hi, Carrie.
Yeah. Hey, let me toss something out really quick because I'm driving and I keep kind of going in and out of service. I can hear you, but then I start losing connection. Interestingly enough, as I'm driving and I'm headed towards the intensive, I am not usually nauseous for 4 days. And I think there's a whole part of my psychobiology that knows that when I go to an intensive, there's definitely going to be a lot of things that move. So I find it really exciting, but I thought I'd toss it out into the soup and give you, hear your comments on that.
Well, to me, in terms of my own process, the pursuit is, how do I get to the next level of vitality and the next level of commitment? So the next layer of what I need to detox, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is, so the next level will start to move in me. And the minute that somebody definitely commits themselves to say, okay, I'm going to step into the space and do this, they hit a new level of vitality just by connecting with the energy of it, remembering that we're energetic beings. And a new level of vitality means the system starts to throw off what doesn't belong. If I'm committed to functioning fully as a human being, then when I make that commitment, many people say, well, there, now my life should be all peaches and cream, should be easy. I'm committed to that. Well, actually, if you make that commitment, your life isn't going to be all peaches and cream. In fact, the opposite is going to occur. All hell is going to break loose. Because in order for you to embody your true human life, this awesome presence of love you are, everything that you hold in your tissue structure and in your genetics that's unlike that has to start to move, come to the surface to be moved out. And yesterday we talked about living at process point. And to me, the goal is to get to the level of vitality where you're at process point, where that veil of the temple, that barrier that keeps things hidden, is continuously open, and you are moving through that high-speed process continuously. And it's reaching new levels of vitality that empower us to go to layer by layer by layer of those dynamics. And so I would say that you are absolutely right on track. I'm delighted for you. I would be drinking, of course, lots of water, and I know you know all those things to do with having written Super Immunity Secrets and working on the 21st Century Human, that you know exactly how to handle yourself and moving through those healing crises. But, you know, in the system of medicine I'm trained in naturopathy, the healing crisis is simply what I need to process out that my body has to throw off for me to bring in this new level I'm committed to. And so I'm delighted for you. Just pay real close attention to your driving and be safe as you do.
Oh, I will. And great suggestion on the drinking water. I appreciate it. It's always helpful to have, you know, additional insights, because sometimes when our own stuff is up, it's easy to have blinders on too. So thank you. Awesome.
Delighted. So how long have you been on the road?
Oh, since about 8 this morning, and I'm just about to Kansas. So.
Oh, cool. Well, then we'll probably see you tonight, will we?
Oh, you will for sure. Yep. Not sure what time, but I'm kind of taking the side roads as opposed to the major highways, so that's my style. But beautiful out here, just beautiful, and really peaceful, great for kind of, you know, just allowing the internal process to flow. Cool.
Well, your room is ready. Somebody was just cleaning it just an hour ago when I went over and chatted with them. We're actually going to put you in one of the support team buildings with a couple of people that I think you'll really enjoy hanging out with. So
great.
It will be good.
All right. Well, we will catch you later then.
Okay, travel safely. Appreciate you.
Okay.
This is going to be some gathering of people. You know, Rex and Mitzi are coming, and Rex and Mitzi have been doing this work since, my children, when we first met them, they were the same ages, and they were probably about 4. So my son is now 33, so that would be 29 years ago. So Rex and Mitzi are on their way, and Rex has been teaching the work for, a couple decades now. And am I hearing a voice in the background?
That must have been me, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Something kicked up on
Hi,
my
you,
computer.
Michael?
Yeah, something kicked
Hi,
up
you,
on
Michael.
my
How are
computer.
you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to get there for teachers training, and the more I hear about people showing up earlier, the more I think, yep, it's going to be all revved up. I'm going to be like the sperm trying to get into the egg, and there's going to be all that distance. You guys are all going to want to just have your own little thing, and I'm going to be one of those people trying to burst through.
Well, that's an interesting analogy, Tim. I wonder where those brain cells come from. Okay.
Just listening to lectures on resistance, and the necessity to face the resistance, the resistance is going to be at its greatest point right before it gives birth to something new. Before we can transform to something new, we have to be willing to sit with the resistance and not fight it off and not try and create what we want out of it, but to let it act on us, and then we grow into something we could never have imagined.
Precisely. Yeah, there's the ancient teaching said the mind of man is not yet conceived what lies in store. When you look at what the deepest possibilities are, and you just start to get a little picture around the edges of what it might be, it's just it's monumental. Absolutely monumental.
It's hard for us.
Go ahead.
It's hard for us to conceive. As a matter of fact, it's impossible for us to conceive, but especially because we're raised in a culture that's all about helping us to create this sense of control. But it's hard, if not impossible, for us to conceive that there are worlds beyond what we're able to tap into with our five senses. And so that's where that willingness to go through what looks like the ache or the pain, it's like what you have to do if you're going to build muscle. The hardest part of exercising to build muscle is not beginning. It's that last set of reps where the tension is so strong, but we have to push past that, knowing that we're not going to destroy the muscle. We're actually going to make it stronger. We're not going to be destroyed by the nausea that Carrie's feeling, as long as she's aware of it and drives, consciously. But I'm not going to be destroyed by my anxiety about what might happen when I take this trip and the finances involved, and I'm going to be completely different on the other side of it, and I have to have that faith that it's all going to work out for the best, just like everything else has in the past, even though it almost never works out the way I would have planned with my little 9-bit mind.
Right. Well, and one of my favorite thoughts around that is that, especially when it comes to facing what's inside of us, is people go, oh, that was so terrible. And, the truth is that you survived it on the way in. You'll survive it on the way back out again, and be lighter for having processed through it and come out the other side. So that's the whole idea. That's what we're here to support happening. And our calling number is 646-200-4169. It looks like we've got about, 10 minutes or so left.
We've got 9 minutes, and we do have a caller.
Awesome. Let's hear what they have to say.
This is a Skype caller, and he says his name's Rhett, and he's from California. You're on the air.
Hello. Hi. I'm Rhett Omar.
Welcome.
Hi. I was wondering if maybe you could help me out. I'm trying to figure out how I could get rid of these bad energies I've been building up. I just recently lost my job. I used to have a job in the NFL, and I'm trying to transition over to maybe being a baker. And I was wondering maybe if you knew sort of anything I could. Well, I always wanted to follow the family business. So. Hello.
And the family business is baking?
Yes, my dad had a baker, and my grandfather, his dad had a bakery too.
Oh, cool. Well, it's in your genes then. So here's my highest thought.
I just kind of wanted to know if I guess I've been just depressed. I mean, I lost my job, and I haven't really been in the baking business a while. Do you have any advice on maybe what I could go to, what I could look at or do to sort of take these feelings?
Absolutely. We've got the technology. It's on our website, free. If you go to whyagain.com, whyagain.com, on the right-hand side, there's a link that says download worksheets. There's the second link is the reality management worksheet, which is the how-to of forgiveness from the ancient Aramaic. And literally, in that language, forgiveness is the tool with which you go in and remove content from your mind that never belonged there. So if you just go to the website, all the information's there. You can download my book free, start to use the worksheet. There's 7 or 5 different links for radio shows where we walk somebody through the whole process. Start putting the pen to the paper and doing that worksheet process, and you will see changes in your mind like are not rationally conceivable.
So the worksheets, they're not in Aramaic, are they? I don't speak that.
No, it's in English. It's in English. It's what we've done is translated from the Aramaic these ideas and brought them into the English language. And of course, the book is also available on our website in several different languages. So we're looking to get into every language on the planet and make it available to every heart-minded being on the planet. But you just start putting a pen to the paper on that worksheet, and you will see changes that people would say, that's not possible. And you'll have people looking at you and going, what have you been doing?
Okay, so I'll do these worksheets then. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely delighted. And as you start to do them, if you have any questions, there are 5 links under that download worksheets. After the worksheet, there are 5 links that tell you, that walk somebody through the whole process. You're listening to a live show where we walk somebody through the worksheet, so you can just step through it and put it to work in your life. And if you have questions or stuck points or difficulties in doing it, the reason we're here 5 days a week is to support you. You're welcome to call in, ask your questions, and we'll do the best we can to support you understanding and applying the tools in your life.
Oh, well, thank you. And when I open my bakery, I'll be sure to give you guys a free sample, okay?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Cool. Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks.
And if you want to, on the website, there's a link to Jeanie, and if you want to be on our mailing list, we're actually heading out west, so we're probably going to be in California. If you want to have us keep you posted, if you just send us your contact information, address, phone number, and email, we will keep you posted on what part of the country we're going to be in and what our workshops will be. And most of the travel workshops we do are free, so you'd be welcome to come join us.
Do you have an email address I could send it to?
Yeah, if you go to our website, you could send it to Jeanie, Jeanie, at Jeanie, just like Jeanie in a bottle.
Okay.
At whyagain.com.
whyagain.com. Okay, thank you.
All right, blessings. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're down to about 4 minutes, and everything's quiet on the home front.
Okay, well, if anybody is ready to jump in and do a layer of work, we are starting a 9-day Why Is This Happening to Me Again intensive on Monday evening. We'll actually serve dinner, this awesome way that you taste this cherry pie. We had a raw cherry pie yesterday that was to live for. It was the most awesome dessert. We had these fresh Washington cherries and a crust made of dates and different kinds of nuts and coconut. Oh, man, this pie was so fabulous. And I think that's what we're going to serve for dessert on Monday night. So some great stuff happening with food. Ari, who was only going to be here for the 10-day Why Is This Happening to Me, the 10-day Food, Fun, Forgiveness, and Work project. And the stuff that's been going on in the kitchen, we've got pages and pages and pages to add to the recipes book, sweetie. And I just talked with Magda this morning, and she's going to take care of doing all of that. She's been transcribing and making notes, and Lenore's been putting recipes in. So that'll all go into the recipes book. I think the book's probably going to grow to over 200 pages now, so we'll have to look at the style we printed in. But anyway, that's underway, and on Monday we'll be starting with dinner, and then we've got a 9-day Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And in that 9-day we cover, of course, the forgiveness process. Why is this happening to me again? Healing through relationships, purpose, personal power, and commitment, empowered to heal, communication. Did you hear what I think? Did I say communication? Did you hear what I think I said? Codependence to interdependence, hands-on energy field work, MindShifters and still point breathing. So we'll do that all in a process format starting on Monday. And Heartland is about an hour due east of Branson. A lot of people are familiar with Branson. So we're in the Ozarks in southern Missouri. We're in one of the top 10% clean air in the nation locations, which I really value my lungs. One of the reasons why we are here. We're on a lake. We've got what used to be a resort. We've converted to a teaching center. So we have accommodations. So people who come to the intensive, we house you. We feed you this awesome food. Part of the intensive is you get to learn about putting your hands on this food and how to prepare it. And so that's, you go home with some of the skills of these fresh and raw food processes that we do. And even, really, truly dyed in the, wool meat eaters are like, oh, man, I'm not going to eat meat for 9 days. You got to be kidding. And every day it's like, I can't believe I'm so full and so satisfied, and this food is so awesome. If I could do this when I got home by myself, I would change my diet. I'd never eat a dead animal again. We get lots of people who do that, and people who transition into doing healthier, real food processes. A lot of people are surprised to hear that food actually comes from the ground. It doesn't come from the grocery store. And so we get as close to the ground as we can with the food that we eat. We do nothing that's processed, maybe, some spices that are and that sort of thing. But basically it's all real, honest to goodness, as it comes from the garden, whole food. And so the food program is part of it, and the accommodations, the workshop materials, everything for 9 days is a total of $1,575. So if you want to join us, please touch in. We've got a couple of spaces left, and we'll look forward to perhaps seeing you here or down the road somewhere. If you're in a community where you'd like us to come and present, we'd ask you to drop a note to Jeanie at whyagain.com, and tell us where you are and what kind of a venue you've got. And basically what we do each year when we travel is we look at the requests we have in any given direction, and we start to work with those requests and create a tour where we can touch the most people possible. And this year, after we've headed up into Canada, once we finish the intensive season here, we're heading up into Canada and then heading west. So if you're somewhere in the western part of the country, let us know where you are, what kind of a venue you have, what kind of population you've got in that venue, and we look at where we can touch the most lives, and that's where we'll take our tour. And we'll pay our own expenses, and the workshops will be free. So that's what we're here to do, and we're delighted that you're here sharing with us. And are there any other comments or questions in the chat room? We're just about out of time.
Actually, the streaming is already off.
So we're complete then?
Yep, we are. Everybody join us on Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, my phone just said we've got